Hey everybody, Bacon here, and we're back with another deck pick of the week. So last week we were talking about a minion-based pirate warrior and a control shaman. Both of those I'm finding are still working pretty well, so if you want to keep using those, keep at it. As for the control shaman, I've been having a lot more success with it in the online conquest tournaments rather than in on the ladder. So it's not quite as good of a ladder deck as I was expecting, but in tournaments where you can isolate, specific matchups you want to get and develop a cohesive strategy with bans, it's really strong there. So if you've been grinding the open cup circuit, I highly recommend it. But the deck of the week we're going to be talking about this time is a mid-range Dragon Priest. So when Dragon Priest first came out, people were really expecting it to go like a control route because before the Dragon Synergy cards, people looked at the big late game dragons and they're like, Ysera, yeah, control card, it feels good to play control. We want to play control Dragon Priest. And similarly, people used to try and make control Dragon Warrior work, right? Now, we all know what happened to Dragon Warrior over time. It evolved into sort of like a faster, mid range, aggressive tempo deck. So you're using like the Alex Strauss's champions. You're using the Twilight Guardians, stuff like that, to have a really strong early game and sort of dominate in the first 6 to 8 turns of the game. Now, when you look at it, it's kind of a very natural evolution of the deck because when you take a look at what the Dragon Synergy cards do, is they give you more stats than you pay for on curve. Control decks don't really want to play on curve. Control decks are very reactionary. They want removal spells. They want, like, in the case of Warrior, they want weapons. In the case of Priest, they want those removal spells. They want their entombs. They want their board wipes, excavated evil, stuff like that. Playing on curve is not. That's those two strategies don't really mesh. So what we're playing today is sort of embracing the true mid-rangey nature of Dragon Priest. Now, Dragon Priest isn't going to be as aggressive as the Dragon Warrior just because of the synergistic class cards you get. Dragon Warrior has the Alex Strauss's Champion, which is an aggressively statted charge minion on 2, whereas we have the Wormrest Agent, which is defensively statted, it's a taunt, but it's still giving you that board presence. Also, on turn 5, we have the Draconid Operative, which is an incredibly strong card. Like, super strong. But it's not like a charger, it's not that aggressive. It gives you value. It allows you to play for the late game against control decks. So the new role of Dragon Priest seems to be putting on a lot of pressure on control decks. So I've been performing pretty well against Reno Mage. I've been performing surprisingly well against Reno Warlock. You do very well against Jade Druid if you ever run into it, but you don't do quite as well against the other aggressive decks. So you would think that having overstated taunts on turns 2 and 4 would make you do well against the aggro decks, but it's not really quite the case. The real strength of the Dragon Priest is keeping up a constant stream of threats against control. So with your Draconid Operatives, Azure Drakes, Netherspite Historians, Bran, like all that stuff means that you can keep pumping out the threats against control while still having a hand for their board sweepers. So the addition to this Dragon Priest deck that I really like, and the thing that makes it a little bit different from other ones I've seen, is adding Ragnaros as a top end threat. Now, Ragnaros is kind of like the king of mid range cards. It's a big threat. It's a must remove target. It often goes 2, 3, or even 4 for 1 in terms of value. And the real cool thing about it in the priest deck is it represents 8 damage of burst that nobody really plays around. So Ragnaros is a really cool addition to this deck, and we're gonna see how it performs. So let's bust out a few games so I can show you guys how this deck plays out. And yeah, you can see it in action. So let's check it out. All right, so we got the Priest Mirror. And in the priest mirror, this is often going to come down to a lot of value game. So board presence is obviously going to be important because of the strength of the priest hero power. But as we get into the mid and the late game, it's going to come down to a lot of things about like who can draw more cards, who can generate more cards, and who can stick the biggest 4 health creature to the board. Sometimes. So I think we're gonna keep the Talon Priest. I'm a little worried about it. Maybe we won't keep the Talon Priest. If we were on the coin, we would definitely keep the Talon Priest, but I think because we're not, we're gonna go do a full mulligan for curve. This isn't really, despite it being a 2-drop, it's not really the type of 2-drop you want to keep. Doesn't really contest anything, and it at worst is something that they can get a draw off with their Northshire Cleric. Twilight Whelp is obviously a great turn 1 play though, so we're just going to throw that out there. We're once again a little worried about a Cleric being thrown down, but it wouldn't be too bad. And yeah, there it is. So I think at this point, we're just going to go face with this. And we're going to try and keep our hand size fairly high throughout this so that we can get a big Twilight Drake on turn 4. Because like I was talking about in the mulligan, landing that big 4-health minion can be a really big deal. I assume this is, yeah, the Talon Priest, which is a little unfortunate. It's going to be quite difficult to remove that. Yeah, this is getting really awkward. So I think we actually just hit face and heal our face. If we hit face, heal our face, they can't remove this. They will get a draw if they heal. If they have the second Talon Priest, that's also pretty annoying. They might have it because they coined out the first one. And I don't think playing the Wormrest agent is good enough for us to do that. So yeah, I think we just hit face and heal ourselves. And we can make a 4/6 Twilight Drake next turn, which if they don't have the second Talon Priest, then we contest the board with it. But they do. Okay, this is quite bad. I'm gonna be the first one to say that. This is really not good for us. It looks like here we might just get beat by being curved out on. We could go for a... No. Hit Holy Nova is like really bad. I think it's just Draconid Operative. If they have a Dragonfire Potion, we're taking that. We don't need 3 deaths in hand. We would much rather this be a pain right now. I think we take the Whelp just so we have an activator for our second operative. And then we just pass. Yeah, we just pass. So the death's going to come in kind of handy here, but it's still not that great. So 5, 8, 11, 12. I guess we just do Draconid and hope for the best. I don't know what are we trying to get though. Draconid, hope for Dragonfire. That's not good. At this point, we just want to put a lot of stuff on the board so that we can trade out. And Holy Nova. The fact that they've had this on board since turn 1 is super bad for us. Despite the fact that they only got one draw, it's just the fact that it's impacting the way we have to play. That's what's really screwing us here. Good news is this is opening us up to a pretty good Holy Nova. It's not the best. But it could be a lot worse. They do have hand advantage and board advantage. So at this point, we kind of need our second Holy Nova again. Holy Nova Shadow Death. If we pick it up, then that can definitely get us back in this game. Oh, they're doing the trade out. Okay, I didn't expect that. So we don't need the Holy Nova anymore. We'll just do Drake into Shadow Death. Will Drake see what we draw Shadow Death? Yeah. The Drake contests the 2/4. I've got Nether Spite Historian to start adding some value to our hand. So this is that mid game portion I was talking about, where things are going to come down a lot more to value rather than curve. So if we can discover a third Draconid operative, that's massive. But at this point, we really want to get a Bran in our hand as well. Oh, Curator. That's unexpected. They have played some doubles. When I see Curator, I think like maybe it's a Reno deck, but it doesn't seem like it. I mean, I know Cabal Talon Priest is good, but it doesn't seem good enough to be running it and like running multiples of them in a Reno deck. Let's get our Discover train going. Have we seen any pains from them? We haven't. We haven't seen any deaths either. I think we go for the Bookworm. So we go for the Bookworm, we trade here, Bookworm that. Yeah. Keeps our Drake healthy. We had the chance of losing it to the trade and the 1 in 4, but I don't think that was bad enough odds that we wanted to play around it that much. Oh, that's bad. That's quite bad for us. Okay. So Bran is a must-remove target here. Like 9 times out of 10, it is absolutely correct to get Bran off the board. So we can do death that Blackwing Bran trade, and then hit go face and heal. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's the play. So death this. Got to keep the Drake healthy because it's incredibly difficult to remove. We wanted to get the 4 face damage in because this dies to Blackwing Corruptor if we trade or if we go face, so we may as well make them trade into us. Oh god. Well, we just used our death, so we need to maybe get a little lucky on where this lands. So we can clear it. And I suppose we do. It's what I was talking about earlier about just the strength of Rag in this type of deck. Just the ability to like, so they threw it down, immediately killed one of our minions, and then we had to trade 2 other ones into it. Like that's really bad for us. And they still have one of our cards that they discovered. Oh god, it's the other Rag. Oh, that's so bad. Well, at this point, I think we just have to go wide. Hope they don't have the clear. They likely do. But having the taunt up prevents them from being able to do like a Holy Nova with trading into our 3 health guys. So that's something. Pain is going to be good on that. So we're at a point where drawing our Rag could end up closing out the game for us, either by killing theirs, or going face and we find 3 more damage. Yeah, this board is getting disgusting on both sides. So we need it to not hit our Drake. Okay, that was the best possible target, and I think we win now, right? So we trade here. Holy Nova does 3 to face, so that brings him down to 8, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep. And we get a draw because who doesn't like drawing cards? Wow, I suck at math. Okay. Not my brightest moment. Oh, they got a natural Chillmon there. Okay. So it looks like at worst our rag flip's gonna be a 1 in 3. Anything we kill will be a good outcome. Never mind, it's a 1 in 4 now. No, 1 in 3. Okay. Best outcome is face. Second best is rag. There we go. Got him. So this is one of our toughest matchups, I'd say. Priest versus Rogue. Gadgets and Auctioneer is incredibly difficult for us to deal with. Obviously, Drakes are always a problem. But a big problem is Gadgetson and also stealth Edwins or requesting adventurers. If they have to go all in on on an Edwin or requesting adventurer, then we win if we shut it down. But if they get away with it, they can just completely burst our face. And with this mulligan, we just end up keeping everything. Like, this is a really strong start. So we'll just hold all of that. They kept cards 1 and 3. But if they have to go all in on an Edwin or requesting adventurer, then we just need to have the Shadow Death to shut it down. But if they do get away with it, we just die. So that can be a bit of a problem. But overall, it's a pretty bad matchup if they do things like draw their Auctioneer. Basically, they need to draw their Auctioneer, get their cycle going, and then it's quite difficult for us to make the comeback. Good start though, them not having the pirates. Obviously, if they had like a swashbuckler or small time buccaneer, they would have played it turn 1. And then the fact that they hit face with dagger means that they don't really have a strong turn 3 prepared either. So this can also be one of the ways that you win against Rogue, just by like curving out, applying pressure. And that's something that like Priest has never really been able to do very well, apply pressure. So this is one of the new strengths of the deck. That'd be a Yeti. I mean, a Yeti is better than a 3/5, so we'll just do it. Like this deck can actually output a surprising amount of pressure though. Like I've had I think turn 6 or 7 victories against Reno Lock, and it's like they were not expecting that. Like, you don't keep Reno in your opener against a Priest because that's just bad. But they needed it, so like some of the pressure you can output with this is just nuts. So they're going for the big Edwin, and we don't have the death, but we do have 1 turn of stall, and also the ability to draw. So we draw 1 here. We're just trying to maximize our outs, drawing as much as possible to try and get that death. If we get it, we win. We did not get it yet, though, but we can maybe discover it chill maw for a taunt. Draconid Operative is good. We can maybe pick up their second sap if they're running it. There's also the fact that, now that I think about it, we're just representing a lethal next turn, so they have to trade with us. 3, 4, 5, 6. We need 2 damage. We've been cycling pretty hard. Oh. What? Okay. So we sort of, by curving out so well, we forced them into needing to go for the all-in Edwin play. And then because of that, they didn't have their prep, their counterfeit coin, their backstab, stuff like that for when they did draw that auctioneer. So this is one of the things that is making the Dragon Priest a lot better against combo decks than a lot of other priest decks have been able to do in the past. Like just yesterday, I managed to be a freeze mage on turn 9. Like pop block on turn 8, kill them on turn 9 because I just had a lot of threats, and I used a Draconid, Blackwing Corruptor to get that 3 damage past the freeze and kill them. So against the shaman, we actually keep the pain. We really want curve though. The best way to beat them is by curving out and then like hitting our Holy Nova when we need it. We do not have curve at the moment though. So we can do Nether Spite next turn, or we if they had Coin Totem Golem, we just pain it. So what do we want here? Drake is okay. Well, I mean Drake is good. Drake is good. Twilight Whelp might be better because we can squeeze it in next turn. Let's go for the Twilight Whelp. We can squeeze it in either with a Hero Power or a Shadow Pain. They don't have the Totem Golem unless it was like that card. No, that's the Spirit Wolves. Okay. So yeah, the Whelp was a nice curve filler. We would have preferred probably something like a Chill Maw maybe, but this works. Unfortunately, they did have the Spirit Claws though. We'll just play out the Guardian. That's better, right? Guardian better than Twilight Drake. Twilight Drake would be a 4/5. It does nothing better than a 3/6 because there are 2 like max health on minions. There is 3. So play the 7/7. Oh damn. Okay, a Lava Burst. That's unfortunate. All right, Corruptor is good because our next best play was going to be like Wormrest Talon Priest. It just wasn't very good though. This is much better. This is looking pretty rough for us though. So Holy Nova would be okay, but not like it doesn't full clear. I guess it would be pretty good. Yeah, it'd be pretty good. Okay. Wormrest Talon Priest is a lot better now because they don't have 2 3 health minions. So Wormrest Talon Priest almost does as much as a Holy Nova would have. Not actually, because they've got the 2 damage weapon. Well, it's still our best play. Having the death for the 7/7 is one of those things where it's just like obviously amazing. It's a huge tempo lead for us because they've got the 2 overload this turn. Having said that, they've only got 3 cards to work with, so it's quite possible that they can empty their hand while only using 5 mana. But it doesn't look like it's going to be the case. Looks like they're going to have a pretty dead turn. And now with the 3/8 and the 3/4, we have theoretically stabilized the board. Although totem golems kind of suck. And that's it. Couldn't handle the value train of Draconid. It's nice that we've gotten all different matchups, though. That's pretty cool. We've had one priest, one rogue, one shaman, 2 shamans. Same person, isn't it? Yeah, it's the same person. So we're keeping the pain again. I believe we keep the Talon Priest on the coin. There's maybe an argument for keeping Technician, but I don't think so. I mean, coin Technician into Talon Priest, if we have a dragon, is a pretty strong start. Maybe we'll keep it. So they also have a pretty good start, unfortunately. But the 3/5 contests pretty much all of this. Unfortunately, they're like this is just a little too aggressive for us to deal with. We're gonna pain the totem golem because that just that's the best way to deal with it. They played a totem golem last turn, right? So they could play Spirit Wolves, which would make the Tunnel Trogs more threatening than the Buccaneer. I think we take out the Tunnel Trogs, so this is as big as the Buccaneer can get. Twilight Guardian would be great. Holy Nova is good for next turn. We got 3, 5, 6, 7. We can go up to 14. Yeah, I think Healing Face is correct. So if we stay at 12, we die to Lava Burst. If we go up to 14, they need Lava Burst and something. So we'll discover and we can't win, right? We can clear the board all but the 7/7. That Holy Nova brings us up to 7 health, but they've got 8 on board, so that will be game. Well played. Yeah, this is what I was sort of talking about earlier, how it's not quite as good at dealing with aggression as you would think it is, because having overstated minions on curve doesn't really do enough to stop like the start of a pirate, like the pirate start of an aggro shaman or of a pirate warrior, things like that. But overall, I think it's a very strong deck, suited well for the meta, really beats up on control and other mid range. So I hope you try it out. Let me know in the comments what you think of the deck. And if you enjoyed the video, please like it and subscribe so that I know that you enjoyed it and I can keep making content. So see you guys later. Have a good day.